welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing another Telogen Effluvium update. I can never get that word right, but today I am doing another video about my hair loss journey, and I am answering all the questions from the comments that have been within all of the videos that I did in the little series of videos. I thought I would go through and answer all the questions that maybe I'd missed out in the original videos. I do try to reply to them as they come through, because I know a lot of people that are watching the videos are in a very stressed and low position. It's like you want the answer straight away. So I have tried to answer them as soon as I see them, but I thought I would do a Q&A of all the questions that have been asked for me, and maybe they'll help you and give you answers too. Otherwise, you're welcome to drop a comment below if you have any other questions, or if you want to do it privately, you can go through onto my Instagram, which is @BetweenEngland, and you can send me a private message on there if you would like. So let's get started. The first question is, why did you lose your hair? Just before we start, I'm not a doctor. I went to a doctor to find out what was wrong with me, so a lot of the advice that he gave me was obviously from a doctor, but I believe, and the doctor believed, that I lost my hair through stress. It was stress related hair loss, which is why it fell out. There was a trigger event that happened about 3 months before it started, and then the joy happened a few months later. So that was why it was through stress. I had all my blood levels checked, so I knew it wasn't anything like medically wrong with me. It was stress. Number 2, did your parting get wider, and was your scalp visible from the crown area during the peak of your TE? Yes, like the top of my head was white. I did try to cover it up as best as I could. There are some videos in the playlist where I do show what the top of my head looked like, and I'd use like some hair powder stuff to show you how you can fill in the gap. But yes, from about 3 months to the 5-month point was when my head did look kind of white, but you could still see hair. I mean, there was hair, but like this bit here had like white lines in it, so it was thinner than what it looks like now. Next question, how long did it take for your hair to stop shedding? It took 5 months roughly. It slowed down a teeny tiny bit after 3 months, about 100 days, but it literally stopped overnight after 5 months. So it started in about the very beginning of January. It then stopped almost instantly, like the 2nd of June, something like that, where literally one day I had loads coming out, the next day I had like 2 hairs. So it literally was like somebody had switched a light switch and it stopped, which was crazy, and I didn't believe it at first, but it did just happen. Pretty much overnight it stopped. Is it normal if for shedding to fluctuate? Like I said, it slowed down a bit for me, but for the most part it was fairly similar almost every day. I kept my hair tied up, so when I brushed it in the morning it was about the same that was coming out every day. Like, so I wasn't really losing any in the day because it was like catching it. So in the morning when I would then brush it would be when it would catch all the loose bits, and it was about the same every day. I didn't really notice much up and down. Did you use minoxidil to regrow your hair? No. It was suggested to me when I went to see a dermatologist, but I said no, I didn't want to, because the way that he described it to me was that it kind of only like masks it. So it's something that if it's potentially an ongoing problem and you're using that to grow it back, you then have to stay taking it for it to stay. Whereas because mine turned out just to be like a cycle where it fell out and then it stopped, and it's been fine ever since, which we're now, what, 3.5 years later, I think it is, and it's not happened again since. I decided to say no when it was offered to me first, because I wanted to see if it was going to be an ongoing thing or whether it was just going to be a cycle and then it was going to stop. So was there any need for that? So no, I didn't use the minoxidil thing. I don't know what it is. I think it's like a steroid. I'm not too sure what it is. But no, I didn't use that. Even though I was offered it, I said I would wait and use that as a last resort in case it was something that you have to keep using and using and using. I said no. Did you have any side effects from the injection? So I did have steroid injections. I refused the one where I thought I had to do it every day or whatever the thing is. But I did have steroid injections in the worst patch. I also had a liquid steroid as well for a bit. Nothing major. It did make my skin kind of like dry out. There's a thing that babies get, like when their hair grows, called cradle cap, I think it's called, where it goes a bit like scaly and skinny. That happened to me on the patch, and then I used a fine tooth comb to like try and scrape it out because it was disgusting and it looked scaly and nasty and I didn't like it. So I did that. Looking back, I wouldn't use a steroid again. Not so much because of the side effect. I just didn't see the point. I was like, it made my skin go thin and scabby, and I could have avoided that, and I don't think it really done anything. I don't think it sped anything up. I don't think it did anything to help me, potentially. So looking back, I wouldn't take the steroid injections or even the steroid liquid again. It cost me like $60 for like the liquid, and I think it was a waste of money, but I was desperate and I was willing to try most things. But looking back, I don't think the steroid helped it grow back any faster. And then I did say I had taken a biotin supplement. Again, I did ask the dermatologist if I was okay to take those. It says what one did I use. There wasn't a specific brand that I used. I literally went into, at the time, Walmart, and then I went to a health food shop once I was back in the UK, and I just picked any old brand off the shelf. I think there's different strengths, so I think there's like 2,500, 5,000, 10,000. I did use the 10,000 at first, but then I read that you should start low and then work up to a higher one, so I ended up cutting the 10,000 ones in half. So I potentially was then having 5,000. Somebody did say, did I get any side effects from the biotin? No, I didn't. I was taking it for a long time. I think I was using it for about a year. So originally I started on the just biotin ones, and then I think I did maybe 6 months of the ones with just biotin, but then I ended up switching to the hair, skin and nail ones that are like the combined ones, which was a smaller dose, but then it has things like vitamin C, vitamin B, zinc, magnesium, so then it had all the other vitamins in. So again, if I was to look back and do it again, I probably would just take the combined ones again, because I then tried to bring things like zinc and magnesium into my diet by eating things like nuts, spinach, things like that. So I was trying to eat more of all of those vitamins anyway, so I think I would have just taken the combined ones along with the food that was potentially helping me. I will leave a link to a blog post that I did about things like what I ate and all things like that. So I did do that all on my blog, so I'll leave that link down below as well, along with the playlist. So if you wanted to go through and read it, then you can check it out. Did your hair strands grow back finer at the beginning? The only area they did grow finer in was where I had the steroid. The ones that grew back by themselves grew back fine. It grew back like the same, like dark brown colour. The ones that were in the steroid area did grow back a bit thinner, and when I tried to scrape the scabby bit out, they did come out too. But other than that, no, it grew back fairly normal everywhere else. Next one. Did the new growth baby hair fall out? only when I picked the steroid patch. Other than that, as far as I'm aware, no, once they started growing, they stayed. Hooray! Will it fully recover? Will hair density come back? As far as I believe, my hair has grown back how it used to. So, yes, I would say mine has. I think I lost about 50% in the end. I did do a video at like the 1.5-year update where I showed how it was growing back, and you can kind of see what it looked like. It was a mess. But it grew back, and I think I'm back to normal. I think it's roughly what it was beforehand, so I'm happy with that. Very last question on my list: did your hair fall stop? Yes, it did. Hallelujah. Yeah, it started in, like I said, beginning of January, and pretty much overnight at the beginning of June it stopped, and it grew back, and I don't think any more has fallen out. Since then, it seems to be fairly normal. We're now, like I said, about 3.5 years later, and since then it's been fine. It's grown back. Like, from looking at this bit, it's all pretty much, other than these bits that happen anyway, as you can see, it's all kind of back the same length. There's no like little short bits compared to one of my other videos where it was fairly terrible. Yeah, I think I am completely back to normal now. So yeah, they are all the questions that I had in all of the comment boxes. So if there are any other ones, like I said, feel free to drop them below and I will get them answered to the best that I can. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you again next time.